Ladies and gentlemen, I would just have to say Trump is on that victory lap with the mail in ballots. And today we have seen another huge win. Or actually, this will be yesterday by the time you guys watch this. But we have this from The Hill. Federal judge lifts nationwide block on mail in voting restrictions. And this is a huge win for the Trump administration. Now, a federal judge in Boston on Wednesday lifted a nationwide block on mail-in voting restrictions, temporarily clearing the way for the Trump administration to begin implementing them ahead of the November midterms. U.S. District Judge Indira Indira In- Indira Talwani granted the Justice Department's request to reconsider her earlier injunction in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling that found a separate lawsuit challenging President Trump's order was premature. In sum, the court finds that in light of the Supreme Court's decision in the Trump v. California, plaintiff organizations are not likely to prevail as to ripeness without amending their complaint to reflect the fact that that a final rule has now issued. Talwani wrote in her 9-page order. The case was brought by the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts and other voting rights groups, which are seeking another block now that the U.S. Postal Service has finalized its rule. The Hill has reached out to the Justice Department for comment. The High Court's emergency ruling on Monday came in a separate lawsuit filed by a coalition of Democrat-led states over the March executive order that directed the Postal Service to implement new standards for mailing ballots. While the court found that the blue states sued too early, it did not weigh whether the restrictions were ultimately lawful. The three liberal justices dissented, saying they would have left the block in place. Talwani, an appointee of former President Donald Trump, noted that the the voting rights groups have substantial arguments that might persuade the Supreme Court to reach a different result if they have an opportunity to present them. The directive had been blocked under two separate injunctions. Talwani said Tuesday that the Postal Service had violated her previous orders by moving forward with the rule but declined to take any further action. The rule, published Wednesday in the Federal Register, mandates that mail ballots have a unique logo and barcodes with an embedded zip code, among other specifications. It also requires states and local elections officials to submit lists of eligible voters before the Postal Service will send ballots. Democrat-led states filed a new challenge to the rule Wednesday morning, arguing it interferes with states' authority to administer their own elections and risks de-enfranchising eligible voters. Too bad. The rule inflicts significant, immediate, and irreparable harm on plaintiff states by imposing new and burdensome mail voting requirements. Okay, I can't do it no more. Talking like a Democrat is. Anywho, enforced by USPS interception of non-conforming ballot mail, and doing so mere months before a nationwide election. The lawsuit reads, referencing the Postal Service. Talwani is also overseeing a new case. The midterm elections are less than 70 days away, with mail ballots set to go out as early as September 4th in North Carolina. So, they can't do anything about it. They can't. I said this about a previous video I had made about mail-in ballots. Look, this is not me saying this. I'm a paraphrase from what I heard, and it's from Tim Pool. If you want to go watch it, go to Timcast IRL. I do not know the exact episode that they talked about it, but with these rulings, they're challenging. Look, Tim Pool said, right now, this is highly paraphrased, that the only that with all everything that's been going on, Trump's going to release new executive orders that within 3 months of the midterm, that literally can't be ruled out. Now, this is not Trump saying, "Hey, they're releasing," or I mean, not can't be ruled out, but that can't be. It won't be able to. They won't be able to challenge it and to get it through, um, in time for the midterms. Now, this is slightly different, as in these are just rulings that were placed on Trump's executive order that's just being removed, like literally like one by one. Honestly, at this point, before midterms, and we're within the 3 months, Democrats are trying to create a new challenge on top of it, make sure try to get it, trying to stop it as much as they can. But look, in North Carolina, mail mail ballots go out September 4th. That's only what, like 2 weeks. Next week, actually, it's literally next week. When actually, next Thursday. Next Thursday. This is does not give. They're gonna look. They could try to challenge it all they want. It's not going to be able to go through, especially in time for the midterms. So at this point, procedurally, the Republicans win. That's my vote. If I look, I'm not a betting man, but if I did bet, it'll be that Republicans will take the midterms. It probably won't be a super majority, but it'll still be a majority. Republicans will still win in the midterms. Now, that being said, the way how the country is really settling in, is really thinking, or the way how the country is kind of like going through it, especially with the economy being like the number one main issue. Um, it'll be it'll be a I I think it'll be a fight. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a good fight, but it'll be a fight to whichever party comes out on top. But like I said, I think me personally, okay, this is me personally, completely biased. All right, Republicans need to win. Honestly, they need to win. I'm gonna be voting Republican. Doesn't really matter. Mostly because I cannot vote for the other side. They are crazy, lunatics. But I think the Republicans have a, they def. I'll say this: they definitely have a good shot to win. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with everyone that you know. And I'll see you guys in the next one.